Okay, the Earth's atmosphere, here we go. Which of the following is a correct statement about the relative amounts of CO2 and O2 in the Earth's early atmosphere? Did you spot the word early? If you don't spot the word early, then you're going to say C, which is small amount of CO2 and large amount of O2. And that describes the Earth's atmosphere today. And if it were asking about today, that would be correct. But you've got to read the question. You've got to spot that word early. They want the Earth's early atmosphere. So the correct answer is B. There was a large amount of CO2 and a small amount of O2. So the lesson from this question is read the question. Okay, describe how the composition of the atmosphere is affected by burning fossil fuels. 2 marks. Okay, well, burning fossil fuels. First thing, just write down the combustion equation, okay? Which is hydrocarbon, okay, plus oxygen goes to CO2, carbon dioxide, and water. Okay, just get that down on the paper. And if you didn't know that, learn that now. You do need to know that. When you burn stuff, that's what happens. Okay? So, you have to describe how the composition of the atmosphere is affected by burning stuff. Well, if we're burning stuff, then we're using up O2. So the amount of oxygen goes down. And we're making CO2 and H2O. So the amount of CO2 goes up and the amount of H2O goes up. There we go, 2 marks, definitely. Obviously, write it out in full sentences, but that's how you should do it. Okay. Right. So, we're over to this thing now. We have to explain whether these graphs provide evidence that an increase in carbon dioxide is causing the Earth's temperature to rise. Okay, 2 marks. So, what have we got? Well, they've given us 2 graphs, okay, over the same time period, and the carbon dioxide concentration is going up. And oh look, the mean global temperature is also going up. So, does it provide evidence that an increase in CO2 is causing the Earth's temperature to rise? Right, it's only 2 marks, so as always, exam technique, just write down what you see, write down the obvious. And what we can see here is that, I'll do it here, as CO2 increases, the mean global temperature, MGT, also increases. Again, you have to write this out in full sentences. I'm doing it shorthand. Okay? So, like I say, exam technique, just write down the obvious, say what it's showing. You know what? I'm going to rub out that sign, because that implies, that's the therefore sign, isn't it? And I'm going to get to this in a minute. But the reason I rub that out is it implies that CO2 is causing an increase in global temperature, and we can't actually say that from this data. Write down, as CO2 increases, just simply the mean global temperature also increases, okay? Don't write that that causes that. Because correlation does not imply causation. Have you heard that phrase? It's a logical fallacy to say that if 2 things are correlated, and these are correlated, that one's going up at the same time as this, then one causes the other. You cannot say that, okay? This is more than just a chemistry question. It's far more than that. It's a general life, philosophy, logic, general knowledge kind of question. Correlation does not imply causation, okay? Correlation does not imply causation. Okay? So, write that down for your 2 marks as well. Write down correlation does not imply causation. And therefore, how do you want to finish it off? Yeah, you just say that you can't, so you can't conclude that CO2 leads to an increase in CO2 leads to an increase in the mean global temperature, okay? You can't conclude that. You can write down that CO2 increases at the same time that mean global temperature increases, but you cannot conclude that as CO2 increases, the mean global temperature increases. The CO2 does not cause, okay, that's wrong. That whole thing is, you cannot say that. Okay, have I banged on about this enough? I think so. Let's move on. Right. Oh yeah, okay, I will bang on about it a little bit more. It also doesn't mean that CO2, an increase in CO2 does not cause an increase in global temperature. There might be a causal mechanism between these two, okay? It's just that showing two graphs, as one increasing, the other increasing, the correlation, that is not enough evidence to conclude that an increase in that causes an increase in that, okay? I mean, I believe that scientists do think that an increase in CO2 is causing an increase in the mean global temperature, but this is not enough evidence to conclude that. You need a load of other stuff to be able to make that conclusion. Okay, definitely enough. Right, let's go on, carry on. Right, which gases are greenhouse gases of these pairs of gases? So they give you a bunch of pairs of gases, and the correct answer is D, because D is water vapor and methane, which is CH4. Okay, those two are both greenhouse gases, so it's D. Right, so you need to know your greenhouse gases. Methane is a greenhouse gas. Water, believe it or not, is a greenhouse gas. The water vapor in the atmosphere does absorb heat and keep it in the Earth's atmosphere. CO2 is a greenhouse gas. Okay, nitrogen is not a greenhouse gas, and oxygen is not a greenhouse gas. Okay, it's those. So learn them now.